Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Denise would like to introduce you to Marcel Schwartz. Hello! Good day, he said. Good afternoon. How are you doing, he asked. I'm very well, thanks. I'm from Houston, Texas. How about you, my dear friend? Thank you for accepting me as a friend. I'm glad to meet you here. I live in Guildford in Surrey. It's nice to meet you. Wow! That's great. I'm so happy to have a friend from Guildford, Surrey. Thank you very much, my friend. So, how is the weather condition in Guildford today? It's cold and sunny, said Denise. How's the weather condition in Houston? All right, my friend. The weather over here, it's sunny every day. I've been to many countries around the world. Exactly the sort of thing you say after you've just told someone what the weather's like. Mostly Europe, Asia, and some American countries. That's the nature of my job. Congratulations, said Denise. What do you do? Thank you, said our man, not understanding the sarcasm. I'm an engineer, and I work on the oil rig refinery on the Sicilian Sea. What about you? I'm retired. I was an accountant. I ran my own business with my late husband. Wow! You have a nice job. I'm so sorry about your late husband. How old are you, my dear friend? I'm 75. I'm 62 years old, he said. I guess you must have taken good care of yourself. I'm a lucky lady, said Denise. Yes, my dear friend. Sorry to ask, do you have kids for your late husband? My dear, I'd like to have your WhatsApp number so we can write more better on WhatsApp. I'm not always active here on Facebook due to the nature of my job. I don't know what a WhatsApp is, said Denise. OK, my dear friend. Are you on Hangout? I might be, said Denise. I think my grandson set that up. Is it what I use to chat with my daughter? OK. Why not check if you still have it? He said. No, I don't. Hasn't it gone? Said Denise. Oh, no, it's that chat thing now, isn't it? Yes, it's used for chatting. My dear friend, can you download WhatsApp? I don't know what you mean, said Denise. My grandson set up my iPad for me. All right, my dear friend. Do you have an email? And so she gave him her email address. But she mistyped it. OK, my dear friend, I do love to message you on email. My dear, the email you sent me was unfound. Oh dear, silly me, said Denise. I can't even spell my own name. I put an extra E in it. And so she gave him her real email address. And so they stayed on Facebook. OK, my dear friend, he said. Do you drink? What do you enjoy doing apart from work? I mean, what are your hobbies? Hello, my dear friend. How are you doing today? In reply to him asking, do you drink? Denise said, I beg your pardon. What do you want to know? I'm sure I told you I'm retired. I like yogic chair dancing and underwater watercolour painting. I'm very well, thanks. Wow! That's cool, he said, in reply to her hobbies. I like to travel, swim, cook, and go for adventures. Do you like to travel? I haven't done much travelling, she said. My Albie wasn't very interested. We did some after we retired. OK, nice about that. Have you been to, in brackets, my hometown before? Obviously, when he copied and pasted that, he was meant to remove the brackets and type in the name of his hometown. It's a wonderful place to be, he said, and we're very friendly and accommodative. No, said Denise, the only time I've been to the US was on a cruise to Alaska with Matt Albie just after we retired. Nice! Now that we're friends, I hope we can go there some day, so I take you round my home country. That'd be lovely, said Denise, but a tour of the US would take forever, wouldn't it? Yes, it can take us forever, and we would tour so many other countries together. I'd like us to get along very well and know more about each other. I'm really delighted to have a beautiful soul like you as a friend. I must confess, you're gorgeous and look more younger than your age. Are you busy now? I was just talking to a friend on the phone, said Denise. OK. Have you met any friend online before? He asked. What do you mean? Asked Denise. I talk to my children and grandchildren online. Tell me about some of your adventures. To which our man replied, archery and camping. Tell me about yours. I don't go on adventures, said Denise. What kind of adventure can you have with archery? Apparently not a very exciting one. Archery, he replied, is an adventure. It's using bows and arrows to fire at targets in a confined and designated safe space. I wonder what he thinks adventure means. Camping is also an adventure that I like. Staying out overnight in tents. either in a campsite or in a remote setting. Who knew that's what camping meant? I also like to visit safari. I like mountain climbing too. Now that we're friends, I do hope we'll go on an adventure together one day. Maybe. I think I'm a bit old for most of those, said Denise. I fancy going on a nice cruise. You think you're old, but I must confess, you look more younger than your age and still very charming. I really admire your look. That's very kind of you, said Denise. You are still young at heart, he said. Travelling to other countries to meet new people and learn about their culture and traditions is also a form of adventure. I will be your guide if I ever have the opportunity to go on adventure with you. You're at noon now. Have you had lunch? It's 2 p.m, said Denise. I guess you must have eaten lunch already. You know, if in doubt, just ask if your potential victim has eaten. Yes, said Denise. Why do you want to know? My daughter's coming soon, she said. I think she's staying until Friday, so I probably won't come online again for a few days. I was off to stay with some friends for 3 nights. Because I like you, and I care about you, he said, in reply to her asking why he wanted to know. So you want to know if I've eaten lunch? How daft, she said. I'm not so old I can't look after myself. OK, you can write me when it's convenient for you, he said, in reply to her saying that her daughter was coming. I will, said Denise. I'd better go and make the bed in the spare room. You really don't look old to me, he said. Guess what? Age is just a number. What matters is the state of your mind and soul. I want you to know I am your admirer, and you look very charming to me. I will always make out time to check on you here. Can I ask you a question? Yes, Denise. What? Do you think you're too old to give love a chance? Goodness, said Denise. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I can ask my daughter what she thinks. You can ask your daughter, and I believe she will give you a perfect answer. Yes, I think she will, if your fake account hasn't been deleted by the time I get home from my friends. But I must also tell you my thought. Love has no age limit. Distance can never be a barrier to pure love. And love is not also about facial beauty. You can still give love a chance if you decide to open your heart and embrace it. I must be sincere with you. I really admire you, and I do hope we can take this friendship further if your heart is open for love. I'll think about it and talk to Elizabeth about it, said Denise. OK, take your time and give it a deep thought, he said. I will, replied Denise. OK, I love to know. How many children do you have? He asked. I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. Elizabeth just rang to say they'll be here in 10 minutes. I'm happy for you, he said. And so Denise went off to stay with her daughter. Good morning, he said on the Wednesday. My dear friend, how was your night? Denise ignored him because she was still with her daughter. On Thursday evening, Denise came home. I'm very upset, she said. I told Elizabeth about you, and she got very angry with me. Then she started laughing. She said I must be a batty old lady not to realise you're a scammer. Do you believe her? Asked our scammer. Do you think I am really a scammer? Yes, I do, said Denise the next morning. You don't even talk like a real American, do you? You talk like a teenage kid, not a mature adult. We all have our tolts and fobibles, he said. And if fobibles isn't a word, it jolly well ought to be. But I do not like to see a lack of consideration for another's feelings or blatant display of selfishness. You must not be afraid to communicate, especially for your needs, but you must also listen. I would expect you to be youthful in mind and spirit, someone who really does want to share their life forever. So if you're prepared to embrace this unique opportunity, then in front of me, because I may not be able to follow, or walk behind me, because I may not be able to lead, but walk beside me, please be my friend, he said. See, replied Denise, you can't even write anything that makes sense. OK, he said, it's fine. You believe I'm a scammer, no problem. I really did enjoy talking with you, and I really wanted to be friends with you. Nothing much. And so our man disappeared. And as this is only a fairly short video, let's have a look at what Elizabeth, Denise's daughter, saw when Denise showed her the conversation. Our man claims to live in Houston, in Texas. When Denise told him she lived in Guildford in Surrey, his reply, unsurprisingly, was, Wow! That's great! I'm so happy to have a friend from Guildford, Surrey. Well, that might have been a sensible thing to say, if he knew something about Guildford, or he had some reason to want a friend from there, so we'll pass on that one. But then, of course, he said, "So how is the weather condition in Guildford today?" And I'm fairly sure that that's not something that anyone from America would ask. It certainly isn't something someone from the UK would ask. I'm not going to tell you what they would ask, because, of course, the scabbers may be watching this video. When Denise asked him what was the weather condition in Houston, his reply was, "All right, my friend, the weather over here, it's sunny every day," and then, completely randomly, said, "I've been to many countries around the world, mostly Europe, Asia and some American countries. That is the nature of my job." Well, that isn't something that you would tell somebody you've just met on the internet, unless they asked you if you've travelled. And saying that that's because of the nature of your job is meaningless unless they tell you what the nature of their job is. And again, I'm not going to explain that, because the scammers are probably watching this video. Then, of course, the giveaway. I'm an engineer and I work in the oil rig refinery on the Sicilian Sea. I think most of us know the difference between an oil rig and a refinery. And again, I'm not going to explain that, in case the scammers are watching. He then, of course, got onto WhatsApp. He wanted Denise's WhatsApp number, which we know she doesn't have, so that we can write more better. Again, not something that anyone from the US or the UK would say. Followed by, "I'm not always active here on Facebook due to the nature of my job." Again, without explaining what the nature of his job is, or explaining why he can apparently be on WhatsApp, but won't come on Facebook. Well, of course, we all know the answer to that. It's because his fake Facebook account might be deleted. Then we got on to hobbies, and he said, "I like to travel, swim, cook, and go for adventures." As ever, of course, my girls always ask about one of their hobbies, and so Denise asked him about his adventures. "Tell me about some of your adventures," she asked, expecting him to tell her that he'd been camping in some remote area of Canada, or he'd been on safari in Kenya, or he'd been hiking in some remote hills in India, or that he'd stayed with some remote tribe in the Andes. But no, he said, "Archery and camping. Tell me about yours." And when Denise asked him, "What kind of adventure can you have with archery?" he told her, "Archery is an adventure," which obviously I think we all know it isn't. "It's using bows and arrows to fire at targets in a confined and designated safe space." And then he defined camping for her, adding, "I also like to visit safari. I like mountain climbing too," but didn't tell her anywhere that he'd actually been. There were lots more clues, of course, that he was a scammer. In fact, probably a teenage one. And of course, the absolute giveaway was after Denise had accused him of being a scammer, and he came back with that meaningless burble, an entire paragraph, starting, "We all have our tolts and fobibles." And if you go back and read or listen to what he said, it makes absolutely no sense at all. And this, of course, is why many scammers will tell their victims or potential victims not to tell anyone that they're talking to the scammer, because someone else will easily spot all these mistakes and giveaways, as Elizabeth did. If you know someone that you think might be being taken in by a scammer, maybe share this video with them. It might help them to spot similar mistakes in the conversations that they're having. I hope you enjoyed this video and the analysis that we did to show that Denise was talking to a scammer. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.